following the same procedures that we did with the mayoral candidates. They will have 1 minute for opening and closing statements. They're sitting actually in the correct order that they picked and by lots when they walked in. I do have to tell you that we've got some complaints that they can't hear us because these microphones, you have to speak right in them. As soon as you can't hear it. So if you want to pop or you want to say a bad word. And we only have 2 microphones, which means you're going to have to pass it down. If you will do that, that would be great. And so there'll be a little bit of passing. You certainly won't start. The time won't start until you have the microphone in front of you. Okay, so don't rush you off. Again, you have 1 minute. He's sitting right there with the paddles that if you sort of pay attention to her, it'll be a little easier. It'll be 30, 15, and then stop. I will let you finish your sentence, but we would like things moving here. So to begin with the opening statements. Mark, you're starting off.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me in my first debates. It's nice to see so much participation. Again, my name is Mark Boroff, and I am a Forest Parker circa 2015. I moved in looking for a home for over 6 months here in the village, and I found my forever home right at Thomas and Adams. And within about 6 months of that, I got involved in the recent referendum. And as we all know, that wrapped up, and I chose to run for office as a function of things I've learned at that point. So I hope I can represent you all, bringing Forest Park together from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica?
Hi, I want to thank the league and the high school for hosting this. And I'm Jessica Vogt. I'm a buyer and set decorator on TV shows, commercials, and movies. I moved here with my husband in 2015, and I am running for office because I think we need a village council that really listens to, responds, and engages business owners and residents. And we need easy to access information, and we need a respectful responsiveness from our elected officials. And I think that's reality, and I think we can utilize that approach as we deal with anything from economic development to becoming a greener, more sustainable Forest Park. So, thank you.
Thank you. Martin?
Hi, I'm Martin Splalian. I've lived in town for almost 50 years. I actually went to grade school here in the 5th grade. Went to school, moved away. I went to school at the University of Illinois. I got my couple engineering degrees there, including a master's in civil engineering structures. I've worked for Chicago Bridge and Iron for over 40 years. And first got involved with village activities, probably other than parking tickets and building permits. Started getting involved when Patrick Doolin and Terry Steinbach got involved in politics, helped them to run. Got involved with some of the activities that were going on, issues facing the village at the time. I was put on the planning commission, thankfully by Mayor Calderon in 2005. Served on that until 2007, and then went on to the council. 2007, 2002, 2011. Ran for mayor unsuccessfully. I think my experience, my education, and my knowledge of the village makes me uniquely qualified to serve on the council, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel?
Good evening, thank you. I'm Daniel Novak, a lifelong resident of Forest Park, and currently serving as your village commissioner of streets and public improvement. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight, and the women voters for hosting this. Again, looking forward to produce, provide, and positively impacting the village. Here with my beautiful wife Samantha in the back, thank you for allowing me to do what I do. I truly enjoy it. We have 3 young, beautiful kids. We're a school district 91 family. In addition to serving the last 4 years as your village commissioner, I have nearly 20 years of municipal experience working for the Wheaton Park District. Again, I thoroughly believe I'm qualified, and I look forward to continuing to serve the village of Forest Park, engaging all of you tonight, as well as over the next 30 plus days, and look forward to a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph, remember, get that mic right up to you, please.
Good evening. My name is Joe Burns. I'm currently a commissioner in the village of Forest Park. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having this event tonight. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I was a sophomore in high school when my mom and dad moved into Forest Park in 1961. So a couple of these guys here, I used to watch when I joined the police department in 1974. I retired from the police department in 1999. I went on to go on the park board from 2001 until 2007, where we did a lot of great things. We built the soccer field, we put the spray tackle in the pool, we redid the baseball fields, we have a skate park in there. So I worked with a bunch of people that we did pretty well together. I am running again because I think that I can make a difference. I think I can bring people together. Whoever knows me knows that I'm a talker and I can talk you into things and I can talk you to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan?
Thought we were holding our applause to the end. Well, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Exciting. This is very humbling and exciting for me to be standing here. It's great for us as commissioners or candidates for commissioners to stand up here and see the involvement and engagement from the people here at Forest Park. So that's very exciting. My name is Ryan Nero. I am a candidate here at Forest Park for commissioner, along with my wife Tracy. See if you can find her. She's in the back. And my son Rocco. We've lived in Forest Park for almost 20 years. During that time, I volunteered in the community, spent time both with the Little League, also the Ad Hoc Cultural Park Committee, which we've heard so much about, and also serve as the chairman of the Traffic and Safety Committee. That being said, my platform is simple. It's fiscal responsibility, public safety and health, and unity in the community. I've got 20 years at an international construction company where I serve as Director of Health and Safety. Hopefully, I'm going to use that to be an extension of you folks as I run for Commissioner of Forest Park. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
Hello, my name is John Newbert, and I'm running for commissioner. I moved to Forest Park in 2002. I've got a business and economics degree from Wheaton College. I've remodeled. We have quite a few properties in the village, so I've worked with building department and seen the great improvements over the last 15 years in the building department. And I would love to continue to work with the building department, make more improvements, and just serve you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan?
Hello, my name is Ryan Russ, and I'm running for village commissioner. It is nice to see a lot of faces that I do know. It's also nice to see some faces that I don't know, and I look forward to meeting you guys. I appreciate the Old Parks Women's League for having this. Forest Park Middle School, my alma mater, may I say. And I look forward to serving you guys in this community. I've been in this community my whole life. This community has raised me. I'm now raising my 2 kids here. And my biggest goal is to bring Forest Park back to being what Forest Park was to me as a kid. A well-diverse community where people communicate to each other, talk to each other, enjoy each other's company, and be a true community. That's what we are, that's what we need to continue to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Julianne?
Hi, I'm Julianne Bonwit. I want to thank the League of Women Voters and all the candidates that came out tonight to share and start a dialogue with everybody. And District 91 for opening up their school in Waltham, Mass. District 91 is actually where I got my start locally. I have 2 small children. I'm a stay-at-home mom currently. I have a preschooler and a first grader. And it was really through the schools that I started connecting locally, making friends and connecting more with my neighbors. I was a member of the Citizen Advisory Council, and that's where some concerned parents came to me about lack of stop sign in front of the preschool. And that is kind of how I came up here tonight. The lack of communication that I found, and it was a little bit hard to navigate through local government, and I want to make that easier. I want to make it easier to access for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with the questions now. I would think for time saving that you all stay seated and just pass the microphone down. It would be a little bit easier. First question goes to Jessica, and that would be, list 2 ideas that you have to reduce the village deficit. Yeah. And if you ever want me to repeat the question you just asked, it's a long line to remember what the question was, I think.
So a couple of ways that we can start working towards reducing the deficit is, besides immediately doing kind of a line-by-line audit of the budget, we can start to locate some unnecessary spending, see if there's any misplaced revenue. That's something we can do right away. And then we can start working a little bit better on our economic development. If we can update our village websites, get people more involved coming into the village, we can start boosting sales revenue. These are all things that we can start doing almost immediately to start bringing money into the government.
Thank you. Martin?
Yeah, I think initially we have to really look closely at our expenses. You know, right, our incomes are not going to increase that much. As a non-home rule community, we're limited in what tax increases we can impose. So we're really pretty much stuck with our income levels. So I think, you know, we have to look closely and hard at our costs and do our best to reduce our spending. I think ultimately our branding and the kind of town we have a great community. We have to get that out there, get it for both residents and our businesses. I think we can increase our revenues by providing a more vibrant environment and bringing in more. I think we need to develop some property, that our village-owned property. Part of it has to be developed back to commercial use. And you know, it's going to be a tough couple of years, but I think that once we get out the information that we have on our village and get things going in our town, we can balance our budget.
Thank you. Daniel?
Again, everyone knows we're operating at deficit. We're over our skis. We're over 100% reliant on the tax dollar. We do have some great core services. How do we maintain these core services? And again, become the village that we all call home and love. As village commissioner, again, we had some great budget workshops over the last few years. We sit down and we go through these expenses line item by line item. We work with department heads as well as village administration to see where we can cut costs. And I'm proud to say we have done that successfully without affecting core services. We looked at old rate structures where we're increasing fees and whatnot. Again, we just want to be able to pay, put it back on the customer. You don't want to nickel and dime you to death, but if it's costing us X to provide that service, expecting the people to pay more. Economic development is key. Our village council needs to come up with a strategic plan to encourage economic development, and we got to recruit new business owners. Businesses are key. Customer service is key. We got to treat our businesses like residents. They have a great stake in this village, and we should be proud of them.
Thank you. Joe? This is how, see, this is a good example of how they would work together as commissioners.
Economic development is a big issue. I think we're going about it the wrong way. We have an economic development commission, but we don't give it teeth. And the only way you can give it teeth is if they help new businesses come in there and develop a business plan. A start-off business plan and a plan 5 years down the road. We can work with the local banks for small business loans and let these people know that are opening up businesses that that's available for them. But the main thing we have to do is we have to deal with the people who own those buildings. High rents are not going to keep businesses in there. Rents that people can afford can put businesses in there. A landlord that has an empty storefront doesn't pay the property taxes on it. Another issue is with the parking tickets that somebody mentioned, and another idea of getting back to Heinz Hospital, the contract for Heinz Hospital for fire services, which is around $250,000 of revenue that we can accomplish.
Thank you. Ryan?
Yes, thank you. I think, first of all, it starts with making sure Forest Park is easy to do business with, right? Business friendly. let's look at some of the opportunities that are available out there. Certainly, I know Altenheim and that property is getting a lot of traffic lately. Being on the committee or the ad hoc committee, I can certainly speak to that. But also, we need to streamline our processes, right? So part of making Forest Park easy to do businesses, or easy to do business with, is certainly making sure that our process is streamlined. Getting business plans from the business owners is certainly part of that. We want to make sure we're competitive. And we have the tools in place to foster growth, right? We make sure that they have incentives, outreach, marketing programs, job training, all of these are part of it. And some of those are very specific, but that's what it's going to take. Additionally, the village must continue our efforts in working with the Chamber of Commerce and participate at all levels.
Thank you. John?
I think one of the most important things for economic growth and development is to actively go solicit successful businesses in nearby communities and find out what would make them, incentivize them to move to Forest Park. That would increase our sales tax base, and non-vacant buildings also pay the full share of property taxes each year because they don't get a vacancy relief. So I think that would be something extremely important for the next commissioners to do and the mayor as a team. You know, it's not just the Department of Finance, it's all four commissioners and the mayor need to jointly go out and solicit other businesses to come to Forest Park.
The question was about the deficit, and the deficit, one of the ways to do it, to help that deficit, is by collecting on parking tickets. Anybody that's got parking tickets in Forest Park knows how those can go. They double, you know, if we got that money back from people's refunds, that's money that is owed to us. We should work that way and get what's owed to us. And I think, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but we have financial advisors and people of that nature to help us with that planning and that stuff of that nature. So let's listen to those people and let them guide us that way.
My background is in social work, and that has a lot to do with collaborating. And in a small village like ours, we have a tremendous amount of assets, whether it's in leadership positions, the employees that staff the village, the teachers that are here, the musicians and the artists that are in our community. We have an active Chamber of Commerce that I believe strongly, and I know other people have mentioned, village leadership needs to be part of that. Working in collaboration, going to the meetings, going and helping promote all the activities. But in addition to that, there are businesses that aren't part of the Chamber, and I believe it would be one of my priorities is to reach out to those businesses, find out what they need as well. We have a historical society that has been here for years, and Forest Park, in prepping for this run to be your commissioner, I've learned so much more about Forest Park. I'm not from here, but I am so proud to be part of this community, and I want to tap into a little bit more into that.
Thank you. Mark?
I look at the opportunity to improve revenue from a revenue and expense side standpoint, but I think my first thought is to the low-hanging fruit is the easiest to pick off. So I would start with a collection agency that is going to collect the overdue parking tickets to a substantial amount. I suggest in the 300,000 range. I move up the tree to do what I already do, which is shop local. I attended the diversity event this past weekend. We have an SBA office right here in Forest Park. Those are hard to come by, and there's a lot of people that want to do business and have their business here in town. So I would encourage those individuals to seek that help out. And then moving up the tree, I would look to the economic development. Of course, you want to grow the whole tree at the time, but you want to kind of pick the easy fruit first.
Okay, the next question starts with Martin. What are two of your strengths that would make you a good commissioner?
Well, I think that probably my best strength to be commissioner is my background with the village, my education, working for a international construction company. We are, most of our work is fixed price, so we're in a very competitive market. And through the years, I've been given many unique assignments within Chicago Bridge and Iron Company, so my work background, I think, will be very helpful. I think those people that knew me when I was on the council before knew that I always advocated for open discussion and often spoke at length at things, sometimes more than I think the council wanted. I think the people that served on the council knew that I was only trying to do what I thought was best for the village, and although they didn't always agree with me, my willingness to work together after we made a decision to move forward. So I just think that my long service with the Chicago Bridge and Iron Company, my knowledge of the village will be valuable.
Thank you. Daniel?
Service driven, that's where I am. I'm a born leader, it's instilled in my DNA. I love to produce, provide, and positively impact others. Transparency, I'm an open door, I'm always open-minded. I have great values. These values are instilled in me because of this community. I have integrity, I have commitment, service driven, dependable, I'm very kind, I'm approachable, and at the end of the day, I'm adaptable. I am truly, again, here for Forest Park. I want to make a difference and have a positive impact.
Thank you. Joe?
I think with me, it's my attitude on things. I'm a good listener, and I come up with plans, and I share my plans. I don't think anybody's ever sent me an email, whether it be on the village website or my own personal website. They haven't answered them, and can help solve some problems. I'm a problem solver. I checked the problem, solved a few more things on the village council in the past 3.5 years. I can do a lot of things. I have the willpower to do these things, and I have the fortitude to stand in there and get things done. I like to figure out the problem, address the problem, and then take the problem and fix it. I appreciate all these folks up here. I think we're all on the same line with this, but I think that my years of experience can show that I can do the job.
Thank you. Ryan?
Well, I think it's energy, motivation, and enthusiasm, right? We need to be responsive as a village board. Really, none of this works. None of this works unless you people are here, working together with your village council. And your village council, whoever that may be, is working together. And that's where it starts and stops. A divided community will not thrive. My education, I got a Bachelor of Science from NIU a few years ago now. And that being said, I will rely on that. I will rely on my 20 years as a professional in the construction industry, doing infrastructure projects, and most importantly, working with people. Integrity, follow through, being approachable. These are the things that are going to make this work. We need to work together. Thanks.
Thank you. John?
I think some of my strengths are going to be I'm a small business owner and a number of small businesses, so I'm very good at multitasking, I'm very good at delegating, I'm very good at letting others do what they need to do to get stuff done and not micromanaging them. So I think coming to a village with its board of commissioners, working with the department heads, working with them, not just on a day-to-day, but these are our goals, these are what we want to get done, this is how we want to move the village forward. I'm very good at doing that. My other strength is I've got quite a bit of accounting hours in college, so I'm very good with numbers, and very good with finance, and very good with budgeting. So those are two of my strengths.
I think Ryan touched on one of my strengths, and that's my energy. And but my other thing is who I am and where I come from. If anybody knows my mom was a school nurse in District 91 for almost 20 years. She taught me what it's like to serve this community. And although I'm not an elected official, I feel like I have served this community for a long time because this community's raised me. I think I said that before also. But it's in me. It's who I am, and I've watched people before me, the Dan Novaks, the Joe Burnses, You know, the people who I saw every day, the Tony Calderones, the people who grew up in this town and decided that, I think he said it, that, you know, there's enough talking about it, you gotta be a part of the change. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Julianne?
I am a mom, a wife, a social worker, an athlete. All of these, I think, point to one of my biggest strengths, which is a team player, and why I just felt really drawn to running for a village commissioner, because I felt that coordinating being a team player and helping my kids get to school and work through their issues at school, helping my community, whether it's the moms and dads that I meet, or my fellow runners and athletes out there. It all, you have to be an active listener, you have to be supportive, and I believe that that's exactly what a village commissioner does. They listen, they have their door open, they are willing to go the distance for their neighbor and their business, and I really care. I grew up in a family that was really close-knit, and my dad and mom both instilled a caring heart.
Mark?
If I just have to pick two, I guess I'll start with that I'm a middle child, so I am a keen negotiator, particularly with my two older and bigger brothers, and then my younger sister. So very supportive family, and I think that led to the desire to work in my family business, where I was always negotiating, doing different tasks. Now that's turned into relationships. So I enjoy many long-term relationships with a lot of my clients, some that precede my ownership of the business, some that are at the 20-year mark, which is as long as I've owned it. And it's those relationships, not just with my customers, but actually my employees, the assets of my organization. You know, I have one employee who just celebrated 30 years, another one that's 12, another one that's 16. We're talking about a company I just have 6 people. So that's been a strength that I hope I can bring to government.
Thank you. Jessica?
I would say that two of my strengths can also be strengths to a fault, but when I'm dealing with a subject or an issue, I tend to want to know as much as I can about it. And just preparing for this, I've been reading every comprehensive plan, on the website, the infrastructure plans, all of these things, trying to get as much information so I can make the right decisions as a representative. And so I bring that to this position. And the other thing is I really get upset if something isn't fair or if someone's being taken advantage of, and that is a fault because I know life isn't fair, but I still get really angry. So I bring that to the position as well because I want to make sure that everyone's being taken care of, being treated fairly, and being represented correctly.
Thank you. The next question, we'll start with Daniel. Certainly this field of 9 candidates shows a testament to the interest that Forest Parkers now have, not now have, Forest Parkers at this time have in their government. How would you bring unity to what is perceived as divided Forest Park?
That's a great question. And again, thank all 9 people out here for running and trying to get involved. Unity in Forest Park, that's our overall mission, vision, values. How do we do it? We need to be one. We need to engage. The Ryan's on this topic with enthusiasm a little earlier. It's an open door policy. We have it. The village needs to do a better job in sharing that with the community. I can't tell you the countless number of phone calls, emails I've received. And again, if they're upset, if they want to share something, that dialogue totally changes the platform. We need to provide consumable information that the village can understand. We have our budget reports. Jessica's been doing a great job in doing the research. Again, a lot of that is not consumable for that average Forest Parker. So how can we do an annual report, annual plans to make everything we do well, toot our own horn, get people involved, and again, bring unity, not amongst the 4 people I have the pleasure to work with, but the village as a whole.
Thank you. Joe?
Well, first of all, it comes from working together with people. You have 4 people that are going to be on the council as commissioners, and then you have 1 who's going to be a mayor. First of all, they have to work together. If they work together, we can bring all people together. It's not one commissioner who can bring everybody together. It takes the whole village council to bring people together. We know that there's some people over on this side of the room that like certain candidates up here. There's some people over on that side of the room that like other candidates up here. Somewhere along the line, we have to get together after all this is over with and work together and go with anybody that's been elected here and work together with them to bring Forest Park forward. We just can't sit back and say, my candidate lost. My candidate might have lost or my candidate might have won, but the candidates that you have up here are the ones that are going to be leading your village for the next 4 years. Work with them, come to the village meetings, and get your voices out there.
Thank you. Brian?
Yes, unity in the community. When you think about that, it starts in this room again. It's one of the things I'm passionate about. And I've spent a career trying to talk to people and convince them to not get hurt at work. It sounds easy, right? But when you put time pressures and constraints and budgets, right, and all of these things factor in, it really takes an effort. And I think that's one of my strengths. I will tell you right now, the way to bring unity is face-to-face conversations. Someone said it before, but I've said it before, get off the computer, get off the Facebook. I will tell you right now, you could have a text war or Facebook war that'll last a lifetime. But when you get out in front of somebody and talk about the issues, it's over with. And that's what we deserve with each other. I've been part of these meet and greets. I've been going door to door talking to people. I've been hearing the issues of people. And I want to be an extension of you folks to be that conduit to unify this community. Thank you.
John?
I think it's one of those, we have all of these great events in Forest Park. So if we just publicize them, get people to come out, whether it's the Park District, the Grove, Madison Street, and the more we see each other out there, we're connecting, coming together, it makes it much easier to be friendly, much easier to respect each other, because there's been a face with the name. It's a personal feeling. So I think that is one of the ways that we can bring unity back to Forest Park.
Brian?
I think that's one of my greatest assets, which I didn't mention in the last question, but I'll say it now, is that I have the ability to get along with this group and get along with that group. And again, I can equate that to my mother because that's how she was. Everybody is everybody. Everybody deserves to have respect. Everybody deserves to be heard. And that's what it is. And that's how this community has always been. We've gotten a little bit off of that path with the Facebook warriorship or whatever you want to call it. So, communication is the key. Let's talk face to face. If you don't like something, let's talk about it. We can end it, I'm sure.
So, in thinking about this, we already are able to do this. We just saw last week, Kindness Week in the schools. That was started in the schools by a first grade teacher. And it spread throughout the entire village, with the businesses, the library, the park district. Every person was involved in it. We had the campaign on the bridge with the mural project. That was a beautiful unifying event. Those are the types of events that I would really, really like to see more of. I think we can work with the Chamber of Commerce, we can work with the Park District, we can work with the schools, the library. We already have this unity, it's just tapping into it again. I think that we could have a more inclusive and community-wide calendar, not just village meetings, but incorporate what else is going on in the different entities out there.
Mark?
I believe that, like Julianne, we are becoming more unified just by our engagement in the process. Certainly the record number of candidates that are at the forefront here may suggest that. Just doing your ordinary day throughout Forest Park, shopping where you shop, patronizing the businesses that you do. You know, that's what we chose Forest Park for, and just continuing to do that certainly brings us together. And then it's the eyes wide open, seeing these other opportunities that you may not have participated in, like the great things going on at Proviso School District, all the improvements that are there. I mean, wow, it's mind-boggling. So I think in terms of unity, we've got the opportunity to carry this momentum forward and by participating in the process.
Thank you. Jessica?
I think we need to still keep working on unity for Forest Park. We don't need to just unify the loudest voices, but we're a very diverse community, and I see unity as more than just kind of a homogenous one, but more unity in diversity, kind of a unity without uniformity or diversity without fragmentation, where we're shifting away from just trying to agree on something or tolerate this or deal with that, but more realizing the complexities of our town and embracing those differences because they enrich our interactions with each other and make our community stronger.
Thank you. Martin?
Yeah, you know, I'm not active on, excuse me, I'm not active on social media, so I don't get engaged in a lot of the, I guess, the divisive things that go on. So when I hear this question, I don't feel the divisiveness that other people do. You know, I've disagreed with some of the people in the audience about various topics. The mayor and I, when I was on the council, disagreed on some things, but I always respected him. I respected his opinion. Likewise with Marty. Marty and I are on different sides of another argument or a different issue, but I always respected him. I'd look to see what the other side of the argument is. And I guess it goes back to what I said before about not holding grudges. You know, I don't hold grudges, you know, and I don't think that we should do that. And unfortunately, I think that social media allows people to hide in the shadows and carry the grudges and play kind of gotcha. But you don't do that face to face. People are nice in general, and I get along with everybody, so I don't feel the divisiveness. And maybe it's stop social media.
Nice try, nice try. The next question, we'll start with Joe. This is a two-part question. What is the #1 problem facing Forest Park, and what do you love about Forest Park?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing probably is the budget. No doubt about it. We're down on funds no matter what we do. We don't get enough money in to keep up with the bills. I'll give you an example. Last year, we were $27,000 more than the previous year, and that's including pay raises, insurance, and pension increases in pension. And we only spent $27,000 more than we did the year before. So the budget is probably the main thing about it. What do I love about Forest Park? I volunteer for a lot of stuff. I volunteer for a softball tournament the last 5 days. I'm out there on the grills for 4 nights. The community center, delivering the meals on the baskets for the meeting and Christmas and Thanksgiving. And you know, with all the stuff that goes on here, I keep on meeting the same people that are volunteering for stuff. I just love it. You know, people get more involved in volunteering, and I think that can bring people together. But it's a great thing to do, and it's a great thing to be part of.
Thank you.
Yeah, very similarly, right? The 600-pound gorilla is the deficit, right? Chasing different forms of revenue to fill the gap. But what I love about Forest Park, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. It'll be only 45 seconds. But when my wife and I first moved into town, and we talked about unity, we talked about community. We first moved into town. Our neighbor, before we had bought the house on Circle, told us a great story about what it means to be a community. His daughter was born and she was very sick. And the people in the village of Forest Park showed up, not because they were asked, Not because they were forced to or because they wanted recognition, but they showed up with pre-made meals and set it on their doorstep. And they did so because they understood what it means to be a friend and to be part of a community. And that, to me, right then and there, told the story of what Forest Park is all about. And then we continue to live here today, and it's been almost 17 years. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
Well, the budget is obviously sort of the biggest and most pressing issue for Forest Park. Getting that fixed is going to be a tough job. But what I love most about Forest Park is we've got this small town feel with a great downtown, any restaurant imaginable, great shopping. Yet we're close to Chicago, we're close to O'Hare. We've got the green line and the blue line, so it's very accessible. When you do want to leave Forest Park, you're able to do so.
Obviously, the budget and not having a village council that the community can feel they can talk to and feel that they're listening to them. I think sometimes as a voter you feel like, well, they're not hearing me or what I'm doing. And so that's a big thing for me, and I could go on and write a book about what I love about Forest Park, but I mean, I love this. I love all the different people, the different races, the different colors, shapes, sizes, the whole thing. It's what Forest Park is. Forest Park, if it was 30 years ago when I was in 5th grade here, it wouldn't look this way. But now, Forest Park is very diverse, and that's what I love about it.
Thank you. Julianne?
I will reiterate, yes, we have a budget issue. And I also think, and it's related, that it was really difficult to access. The budget's not online. It's hard to understand as a citizen what exactly is happening. I am really thankful for the Forest Park Review. And being able to go to village council meetings when I can. Not everybody can do that, and I'm fortunate enough that I was able to go one evening when the auditor was presenting and was able to understand in a little bit more thorough way. But otherwise, it's really difficult, I think, as an everyday citizen to access local government. Many things I love about Forest Park are the people. I love that I can call my neighbor Kate, and when I'm in the middle of a recipe, I figure out I don't have that extra egg, and I'm like, oh my God, can you bring me an egg quick? I love that I can call another mom, and when my 4-year-old is sleeping, still napping, and it's time to pick up my 1st grader, that she will pick him up for me.
Thank you. Mark?
Well, I think the budget got beat up pretty well, but I'm going to talk about the challenges of transparency, and that's where the budget kind of relates. So I've been going to those council meetings now for a couple months because, I want to be the commissioner. And it's unusual to me that I see the agenda and there's no packet to go with it. It's just the agenda. And there's all these decisions that happen. And then I'm just wondering, well, what happens behind the scenes? So I look at that as the biggest challenge, is to improve the transparency. As far as what I love about Forest Park, I could pick from a wheel of things I love. I guess right now what I'm thinking is, we're gonna snow, all my neighbors, we're gonna make sure that we shovel each other's sidewalks, or we're gonna beat the snowplow down the street. Other than that, there's a lot of other things to love.
Thank you. Jessica?
Again, with the budget, which we're all very passionate about, we're going to work on that. Also, I want to say what we love about Forest Park, we probably all love about it because it is so great. But I've been coming here, I moved here in 2015, but I've been coming here since I was in college because I accidentally stumbled upon Forest Park one day. And was like, what is this magical place? And I spent the rest of the day shopping at all the antique malls, and I might have popped in, had a beer. But but it was so great, and it was so accessible. It's so easy to get here, whether you have a car or you can just hop on the train. And it became this treat for me where I have a free weekend or something, and I'm going to go to Forest Park. So I'm really happy to have it now be my home. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Martin?
Yeah. I love Forest Park because I've always been happy. I had a great childhood here. Going to school here, being Cub Scouts, Little League. I had a great time here when I moved back when I was in my late 20s, stumbling down Madison Street at night, mostly late at night, coming back from home. And then our family's also always had property in town for the last, since the mid-50s. The building department's always been helpful. The village is helpful. People are friendly. I don't know, it's a great place. You couldn't pay me to live someplace else because of all our great services, our great location, and our great people, and our very diverse people. And I think that everyone talks about the budget, but the budget, it's because we want to be able to do things for our community. We want to have a very vibrant community. We want to continue the great services that we have, but we're limited by our resources. So we have to find a way to get the word out there and get more money coming in so that we can continue to be this great place to live.
Thank you. Daniel?
Greatest strength, Forest Park is definitely the hometown feel in the community. Again, neighbors support one another, no questions asked. Growing up here, it was always give your shirt off your back. And again, I still believe we do that today. The greatest joy I've had over the last few years has been seeing my kids be raised in this town. And not only am I raising them, my wife's raising them, but the community as a whole is raising them. And that's what truly makes me love Forest Park. Greatest challenges, we heard that, financial, right now, fiscally responsible, we're operating at a deficit. We need to be a more efficient and effective place of public service and operate our day-to-day operations like a business. Transparency, no information, that's been thrown around here. I truly think transparency is a clutch word when it comes to this. It's consumable. The stuff is out there. Open door policy. It's been a pleasure serving the last 3.5 years. It's been a lot of work. Again, I believe we need to make something consumable so they can get it. And again, Forest Park is great.
Thank you. I have our last question before the closing statements. The year is 2023. Just served 4 years as a trustee. What is your proudest accomplishment? Let me start this question with Ryan.
Which one?
Oh, 0, sorry.
Yeah. No one's really talked about it, but I'll bring it up here at the end. I think there's nothing more annoying than when you get a little bit of water in your basement. And I know that's an issue that's been kind of plaguing Forest Park for the last few years, at least. I've got the experience, I got the knowledge, I got the education. I've been working for one of the nation's largest infrastructure companies, doing specifically work in that area. I would be happy to be the catalyst to support you folks in this village to help control the flooding program. And if we can have that done in 4 years, we're doing something. There's a lot of things that we could do as individuals, right? There's a lot of programs. We used to have the flood prevention grant program here at Forest Park, so we need to be celebrating some of the things that we do as a community to make sure everyone understands what you can do personally in your homes and businesses, and then we need to investigate opportunities to make sure that we're jetting, cleaning, lining, doing all the things that I think I can bring some oversight, education, and knowledge from my experience to help control it. Thanks.
Thank you. John?
In 4 years, I would love to be able to say that we came in under budget for the yearly fiscal year, and we're actually putting money, saving money, putting it aside for stuff in the future, whether it's sewer programs or beautifying streetscapes, whatever it is. We just have funds, put aside for a rainy day.
Thank you. Ryan?
If I'm elected commissioner 4 years from now, I want you guys to be able to say, you remember that little kid that used to have those big glasses and that afro when he was in 2nd grade? He really did a great job as village commissioner, helping and supporting, all these things that we need to do. Budget, there's so many issues that not one person can just fix. They have to be able to work and communicate with each other, whether they like each other or not. We're a community. Even if you're on the village council, you're still part of the community. And I think that the people that are on the village council need to be able to be relatable to the people out there, so you guys can feel like you can come talk to me. And I know some of you know you can talk to me, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Julianne?
In 4 years, I would like to see more involvement, more people showing up at village council meetings. I would love to be able to start a yearly volunteer recruitment program and see every single one of our boards and commissions that are volunteered to be filled, and that people are coming out to this yearly volunteer recruitment and wanting to stay involved and wanting to continue to make improvements in our village. I want to see, I would love to see more women running. I would like to see more ethnically diverse citizenship running because I would like to see renters also, not just homeowners, and young people. I think it's really important that we really try to be inclusive, and that means not just, it's important work, and we need to reach out to everybody.
Thank you. Mark?
4 years from now, I'm envisioning a forest park where Illinois is still maybe struggling to get out from under, but Forest Park continues to be the destination that it is today for people that want to stick around. So maybe we'll be bucking the trend, but certainly we'll continue to grow Forest Park and also growing its involvement. So you people coming out again in 4 years, same faces. Maybe you'll be serving on a commission, but either way, you'll be involved in government.
Thank you. Jessica?
In 4 years, I'd like to see Forest Park moving towards becoming an environmentally sustainable village. They're doing some work now, but I'd like to see it becoming a little bit more robust. We need better education on recycling and composting, but also letting people know that their first step is actually reducing their usage. And I want to see in 4 years that sustainable village, including our businesses, so that they're working alongside us to make that happen. I also want to see it becoming also a greener place, maybe utilizing vacant lots and turning them into pocket parks and having more green space, meeting space for people in the community close to home. We can also possibly partner with the community state forestry program. They help towns kind of develop their urban forests, and they give you resources to plant more trees.
Which can help with flooding. Thank you. Martin?
In 4 years, I want to be able to say that we got the word out. We got the word out about the kind of town we are and what such a great place it is to live. And I think that will be represented in where we have businesses that are wanting to move in. That that if one of them fails, like recently happened at Hobo, that there are people lining up to say, I want to be a part of that, because that is a vibrant community. It's a diverse community. It's a well-run community, and it's reflected in the values of our properties, the values of our homes, the values of our businesses. We have a great location. We have a great base of people, a great group of people, and I think that once that happens, and we get the word out, and we have some more income, then we can take care of things like maintaining our sewers and helping residents identify the things that they can do in their homes to fix it. We can maintain our infrastructure. We can do all the things that we want to do so that it just becomes more and more a place that people want to move to and live in.
Thank you. Daniel?
Forest Park, we're definitely at a milestone. Our Mayor Calderon has served the village for a long time, 20 plus years. And again, Forest Park has done some great things under his leadership. Again, times are changing. New leadership, new administration. With that, I want to be a part of that in 4 years still. I will bring the history of Forest Park. History is important, where we came from. I'm a proponent of culture change and change and the presence. So not only is it the history, it's the current, and it's the future. And in 4 years, I know I will be proud of my accomplishments because I can honestly say I will do my best to engage the residents. We're going to be aware of our surroundings, and we're going to have a fun time in this next chapter. We're going to ensure satisfaction. Customer service is key. You as our residents and the business owners. We're going to continue to look ways to do things better and smarter. Again, culture change. Times are changing. How can we improve Forest Park without forgetting the history and make the sustainable decisions for the future and run this fine village like a business?
Thank you. We're going to start with the closing statements now. Candidates have 1 minute for closing statements. And John, you'll be the first one up there. Joe, what would you do in 4 years?
Well, no, I just wanted to let you finish what you were saying, and I was going to. My goals are big. 2023, I hope we're going to have a balanced budget. I hope we made some very big inroads on the Altenheim property, which is out there. It's been going on for the last 3 years. I think if we can get something done with that in the next 4 years, I think that'll be a very positive thing for us. Also, I'd like to see transparency. I'd like village residents to look at the village website and be able to look at all the commissions that are on that website and see their reports and see what they're up to and see what they're doing and see what the village is doing. Some people up here said it was hard to read the budget. I will tell you, the budget took us 3 days to figure out what was in that budget. And if you put it on the website, you're going to be looking at it for the next 3 days. So what you guys want to be looking at is the appropriations report. That tells you everything that's going on with the village. Thank you.
Okay, let me try this again. We're going to start with the closing statements for 1 minute. And John, you're starting off.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight and engaging all nine of us as candidates. And I do have a website, Forest Park Forward, Facebook page, so if you do need additional information, I would love to see you go to that site, and feel free to email me or ask me additional questions. If there's anything that would help you decide who to vote for, I'd be happy to provide it. So thank you guys for coming tonight.
Thank you. Ryan?
On April 2nd, I ask that you vote for me, Ryan Russ, and vote for me because of my energy, my passion, and my desire to do positive things in Forest Park. That's what Forest Park has always been. That's what I want it to continue to be. And we can do all of that if the people that are elected work together. Like Dan said, there's a new mayor coming in, and there's going to be a new council here, and we have to be together all the way through. Transparency is a word that's thrown out there far too often. Like Joe said, if everything was put on the website, you'd be here for 3 days. So there are open and closed sessions at Village Hall meetings for a reason. That's because that's how things are done. But April 2nd, vote for me. Thank you for coming out. And if you want to know anything, find me.
Julianne?
It is truly an honor to be up here in front of so many people. It's really exciting to be part of this, and I'm just really thankful that you guys all took the time out of really busy schedules to come out and listen. Forest Park has evolved, and that's a great thing for the people who make their home here. It has an enhanced vitality and appeal to people who are looking for an inclusive and friendly community close to the city. More than anything, it is the people I meet who make this home to me, my husband, and my kids. I want to help the village with its next challenges and opportunities. I believe both my personal and professional experiences throughout my life have provided me the necessary tools to continue to build relationships throughout the village. I think that relationships, that's the key. What I've heard tonight from everybody, whether you were born and raised here, whether you just moved here 3 or 4 years ago, it's all about relationship and community building, and we can all do that. And I hope to have you check my name, Julianne Bond, by April 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mark at a microphone there.
I do have a loud voice, but I prefer the microphone. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting my first forum. I'm not sure I would call this a debate, it's way too friendly. But I would hope that in your decision matrix, when you go to the ballot box on April 2nd, that you consider the fresh ideas that I am trying to put forward. You know, there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen, what isn't going to happen, things changing. But at the end of the day, I'm up here to bring some fresh ideas forward, and a vote for Mark Boroff is to move Forest Park forward.
Thank you. Jessica?
Again, I'm Jessica Vogt, and I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight and sharing your questions with us. One thing that I do want to say is, though I wasn't born here, lived here for 50 years, my husband and I chose Forest Park. And we chose it because we love it, and it is a great community. And I want to see it stay that way. I want to really find that balance of keeping, embracing, promoting the small town charm while we're utilizing smart technology, community building, working on our green infrastructure, balancing the budget, and all of those things. And I think that we can incorporate moving Forest Park forward, looking forward, and also working really hard to preserve the charm that makes this place so unique.
Thank you. Martin?
You know, the fundamental responsibilities of village government are to provide a safe environment for our police and fire, to maintain our infrastructure with our roads and our sewers, to provide us with water, and waste removal, and to just provide for the well-being of our town. The more efficient we do that, the better that we do that, the more we will be able to make our village become home and do the kind of things that make people want to stay here, and engage the public in activities, and bring businesses in. I was honored to be on the village council from 2007 to 2011. There's nothing I like more than representing Forest Park down in Springfield or at conferences with the Commissioner of Forest Park on it. And I hope that you will honor me with that privilege again. I was known as a fiscal hawk, and the reason I do say that is because I don't want to pass along a village to the next generation that is in debt or crippled or not in the kind of shape that we want it to be. I want us to be able to pass along a village that we know and love and that everyone can enjoy. So please, I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel?
Thank you all for coming out tonight, and thank you for allowing me to share the opportunity to talk about myself and what I can do and what I want to do for Forest Park. Our government should represent all citizens and their interests, listen to their ideas, and engage in development. My loyalty is to this village and its success and growth. My values will guide my career and will continue to guide my career as village commissioner. I promise to maintain my independent values and my voice for the best interest of Forest Park. We need to make sure our residents are satisfied and what we know, the community become what we know and love. Finally, my experience, nearly 20 years in public service, has allowed me the opportunity to manage, produce, provide, and positively impact others. I enjoy making a difference and want to serve Forest Park. Come April, please vote for me. I ask that you visit us at the back of the table, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my wife for allowing me to do what I do. Truly love it.
Thank you. Joe?
Well, first of all, I have to acknowledge a couple of people in the back room there, because they're the salt of what I do. And that's my wife Sandy and my daughter Heather. My son Tom is not here, but he's a backbone of this stuff that I do there also. I think I've accomplished things in the past 4 years, although people haven't seen it. I think that one commissioner can't make all the decisions. There's going to be 4 people up here that's going to be that are running for office that's going to be elected. I'd like to be one of them. I like to be in there to help make decisions, to make good, sound decisions that makes Forest Park even better than this day. We can work together to do this. Every commissioner that's up here, or people that are running for office, should realize that we have to work together to get things done, and that includes whoever's going to be mayor. I think we got to step forward and step it up and get things done.
Thank you. Brian?
Am I closing? All right. And everyone's still here. You know, coach, players stay on the sideline, right? This is an opportunity to go out there and make a difference. It's an opportunity that I relish, and I'm very thankful that I think in my career and with my education, I can make that difference. You know, on April 2nd, you're going to have the opportunity to really decide the leadership of Forest Park. That's a big decision. So I'm hoping that on April 2nd, you punch number one for Nero, for your leader, for commissioner, your number one choice for commissioner of Forest Park. Thank you very much.
All right, I'd like to thank the candidates for stepping forward to participate in this democratic process by running for office. I'd like to thank Mr. 91 for letting us use this facility, and Jeanette Barnes in particular, so helpful in getting things set up. Just remember, early voting starts March 18th in this election. Election day is April 2nd. Go out and vote.